Shouts out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisbin. Shout out the listeners. UFC 318. Last betting breakdown. Let's get into it. I got some bets. I'll discuss them with you. If you don't like him, it is what it is. If you like him, I don't know, tail him. It's cash. Big Bird. Pay-per-view cards, always fun to bet in it. They are. They are recently. I used to hate pay-per-view because of all the chalk and minimum value, but now, I don't know, the reads are just much easier on pay-per-view and the obvious shit seems to happen. So I have a few bets. I have thousands on the line. I'm a little bit nervous because, as I said, it's very obvious stuff. So let's get into it. And then after this, I'm going to tape the rest of KSW and whatever else. All right, cool. So let me whip up my thing. So the first fight of the night is Carli, Judice, and Nicolle, Caliari. Honestly, I have 2 units on Carli, Judice, right? 1,200. Might be fool's gold, right? You know, some people are already saying, you know, you can't bet low women's MMA. You know, she's 4-2, blah, blah, blah. She's lost the last 2 fights before her win. You know, Nicolle is not bad. How is she going to handle the wrestling? Ultimately, what it comes down to, I think this is a levels fight. Carli is younger. I think she was always better from day one. She's always had high-level striking. She just received her brown belt. This is in her hometown, which I didn't even know. I think she has all the potential for big favorite upside. And, you know, she's already fought the highest level girl in Gabriela Fernandez. Went to split with her. Arguably, you can say she won that. And she's just learning. She's learning on the job. And every single time, she's getting more and more experience, you know, as a 6-1. 4-2, sorry, pardon me. She just knocked out Yanisi Duban. A lot of money was coming around Duban. Same thing. Low women's MMA, you know, Duban. She's got value. Didn't have shit. Didn't have any value at all for a second. And, yeah, that's all. Nicolle Caliari, I hear people saying, oh, she's got cardio for 15 minutes. She's got good wrestling. I didn't see any of that. She's a huge bum. Taping her for Contender Series. Her best win is Karina Laframboise. That fight was a mess. It was back and forth. She was on her back. She hit an armbar from guard. Honestly, I think if Karina wasn't coming off a pregnancy and like a 2-year layoff and being 37, I don't think Caliari would have beaten her. The second best thing she's ever done is beat go to split decision with Anesta Karatskaya. And I've been saying how much of a bum Anesta is ever since she's come into the UFC. And, you know, I think because the people think she's good, that reflects well on Nicolle Caliari to have a split decision win. But if you look at round 1, she was getting swamped by Anesta, and Anesta has no power whatsoever. Now, I hear what you're going to say. You're going to say, oh, but Carli Judice lost to Anesta by split decision. Man, that fight was on like 3 days' notice, whatever it was, and she still took Anesta to split. She looked like she was gassed after 3 minutes. So ultimately, yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it. You know, I got $1.40. It's like now $1.20 something. I'm not really comfortable with the amount of CLV. I don't like to get early lines and get CLV and then brag about it because 9 out of 10 times those ones lose. So, but I just don't know. I think Nicolle Caliari's path is another split decision. Right? She missed out on. She couldn't get 14 takedowns against Anesta. Anesta's easier to take down, and Gabriela Fernandez went for like 12 takedowns and took down Carli Judice twice, and she got up both times within seconds. And Carli also took her down twice out of 2 takedowns. So Judice could possibly be better everywhere. Wrestling, grappling, striking, you name it. Alrighty. Because I have a bet there, I have to bang on a bit, but we'll move on. Blind Muck. Good evening, Steve. Hello. Irish Springy. Does the KO price intrigue you or the under kind of intrigued me at big minus money. It was similar to the Duban fight, and she obviously covered. The thing is, you know, she has a lot of KOs, and they're usually in round 1, but, you know, Caliari kind of seems durable, but she's been finished how many times? Almost in every single loss, other than Anesta. Yeah, sub by Hansen. Oh, okay, only finished once. Right, but yeah, Caliari has no good wins, man. Even her wins on the regionals, this Jimenez girl is 8-8 now. So, and 0-3, like, what is it to say? We'll see. Maybe I reduce. We'll see. Blumdog, what's up? I know Blumdog has like the most average breakdown of Nicolle Caliari, and it's not coming at him. You know, I get it. Play a big dog shot. at this price. Doesn't mean he'll lose, but it's just like she's got a good straight. She's got 15-minute cardio. It's just like all like the bare bones basics of what a professional fighter should have. But let's move on. I am tempted a little bit on the under, but we'll see. Brunno, Ferreira, Jackson, McVey. Well, this seems like a squash. My initial thought is Jackson, McVey will most likely react like a civilian in there. You watch his fights in LFA. He beats a lot of people. The one time he fought anyone good, it was on amateurs. Where's Schultz? There's no footage of that. It was 5 years ago, and he got submitted in 41 seconds. All these other guys, whatever. Dylan, I will say, Dylan debuts a 3-0. He's good. He's a good wrestler, and he beat him. This DeMarcus Griffin, probably the next best guy, 5-1. He was quite athletic. He kept taking Jackson McVey down, and then eventually, Jackson McVey triangled him. I don't see him triangling Brunno Ferreira. He's a black belt. I'm pretty sure he's a black belt in judo and jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, ultimately, I feel like Brunno's just going to ground and pound him. He might take him down. The size in this fight is it's crazy. But it's just funny. It's just funny. But I wouldn't really parlay Brunno, obviously. But the under 1.5, that seems too obvious. Brunno does go to end of round ones a lot of the time. Against Hawes, who's chinny, against Stolfus, against Robocop, he knocked them all out at like 4 minutes, 40 seconds or 50 seconds. So he almost goes into round two, and sometimes he doesn't throw anything in round one, like against the German Dagestani guy. I forgot his name now. Abus Magomedov. But he still dropped him before end of round, before the 7.5 minute mark in round two. He dropped Armin Petrosyan early round one as well. So yeah, the under is the only thing that makes sense. I've a lot of people playing Hulk KO, but yeah, I just get this feeling like McVey might be able to hurt him to the body or something. I don't know. We've seen stranger things happen. We just don't know how good or bad Jackson McVey is. Blumdog, don't take it personal, mate. There's nothing personal here. We're just messing around. SJ Pizzy. Shout out Big Steve. Shout out. SJ Pizzy. Ryan Spann, Lukasz Brzeski. All right, so I put another under 1.5 rounds. I don't know how much money. Let me have a look. I wrote it down. I put as much to win a unit at $1.70. That's one of the early lines I hit. I don't usually hit them. But yeah, $840 to win 600 to win a unit. Basically, I put that on, and in my head, I'm like, I'm catching all of this out if Ryan Spann comes in fat again. Against Waldo, he was extremely fat. And he's coming heavier, although he's come in better shape. He doesn't have love handles to an extent, right? At heavyweight, you're always going to have love handles. And he's got abs. And he's, 252. Against Waldo, he was 249. So really not much difference. So you can say that's his walk around weight, but 3 pounds heavier, but so much more muscle, so much less fat. So really, really, this guy should be KOing Lukasz Brzeski. I see some people saying you can't trust Ryan Spann at this price, but man, who is the worst guy that he's fought that's on the level of Lukasz Brzeski? Sam Alvey? And that was a split decision, but you can at least say that Sam Alvey is durable. And he still beat him. But Brzeski is not durable, right? I've been saying this for a long time. He's been knocked out on the regionals as well in round one, and then has a bunch of other round one knockouts. And Brzeski looks like shit at the weigh-ins, so I don't give Brzeski much under 1.5 rounds finishing upside, but essentially it's like, might as well just play the under. Like that's Spann's path, right? How many wins does Spann have over 1.5 rounds? I guess he could have beat Anthony Smith. That was a split decision. He lost to Bogdan Guskov over 1.5 rounds. He lost to Waldo after. Sam Alvey. I mean, the fights do end up being very sweaty if he goes over 1.5. Yeah, so let's hope the Spann runs through him. As I said, very obvious result here. A lot of people playing Spann round one. Alrighty, Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. A lot of the boys hit me up saying Jimmy Crute is a lock, and I know Jimmy Crute well. I said, look, I'm not rushing to play this guy at chalk. Prachnio's takedown defense kind of looked okay versus Devin Clark. He's got some good volume. You never know with Prachnio. He's better than a lot of people think. But Yeah, I mean, Jamie Crute really should take him down or submit him, or he can really knock him out. He can really have his way if he fights smart. I shouldn't say that because a lot of people are saying that this week. He probably won't fight smart, but he really should win. Even the Prachnio fight against Clark, that round 3 was extremely sweaty. It was a 30-27 somehow. I thought it was a bit more competitive than that. It was a 30-27, but he was dead. He was completely done. And I think even though Crute gasses, he's going to have more cardio in round 3 if he maybe takes down Prachnio. A gassed Prachnio, he can probably run through him. So that's where we're at. I don't really want to parlay him. I don't really want to do anything stupid with Crute. But I wish I took the under at Pick'em. But then again, he has a few inside the distance late in round 3, like Paul Craig and someone else. Who else does he finish? Modesta Puskakis, he ran through him over the 2.5 minute mark. It just feels like another Klein, Fatima Klein situation. But I don't think personally my gut feel is that Jimmy Crute won't need, all 3 rounds to get rid of Prachnio out of there. So yeah, he's only taken out one guy, Paul Craig, after the 2.5 minute mark. So yeah, he really should run through him, man. He's got a ton of power. He's got elite jiu-jitsu, so yeah. So Crute inside the distance is the play that I might jump on. Let me have a look what it's paying. Or maybe Crute minus 3.5 spread. Fight doesn't go the distance is minus 200. Crute KO or submission is, wow, that's actually still pick him. Well, that's interesting. That might be it. Let me go on Neds. Let's do something outside the box, right? Oh, actually, I'm not gonna look at it there. Actually, I will look at it there. I'm just not gonna share my screen for unique reasons. So this is a pay-per-view, so we get takedown props. If Crute is smart, this should be a round 1 takedown and finish. Jimmy Crute, round 1 takedown, $1.32. Parlay with Crute inside the distance. Good stuff. Crute submission, you get plus 200. So yeah, he really should take him down here like the old days. Blom Dog, do you think heavyweight will ever be good again? I think heavyweight really is good, but it's unfortunate that Ngannou and Aspinall are in 2 different spots. I think Gane, Aspinall, Jolton Almeida, and Ngannou are like the 4 horsemen that are really unique athletic specimens. Like, who moves like Cyril Gane? A lot of people are shitting on Cyril Gane, but who moves like that guy, man? Like, the way he's able to stick and move, and first time he fought Volkov, he like 50-45 them, lost 1 round. Like, these guys are athletic specimens. And if they're all in the UFC, even you could even say Pavlovich. If they're all in the UFC, Pavlovich, Aspinall, Gane, Jolton Almeida, you would just see some sick fights. And they're all in their prime, but oh well. Unfortunately, we got Aspinall at the top. He's already cleared out the division, minus Jolton Almeida and Volkov. No, wait, he's beat Volkov, minus Jolton Almeida and Gane, and that's it. And there's no one to fight, unfortunately. Yeah, Walter Walker's on the way up. It's just there's some good heavyweights out there. Like, they should just sign Goltsov. They should sign Problema from PFL. Like, they should really break the bank to sign high-level heavyweights because there's just not enough depth. Jimmy Crute's IQ versus Ryan Spann's fight IQ. Look, honestly, Spann does what he needs to do. That's why he has so many finishes. He gets in there and he just goes rabies and he takes people out of there. Adam Fugitt versus Islam Dulatov. Another under 1.5 rounds. I got this one at Pick'em. Obviously, I couldn't tip it. I was going to wait a bit. Some of these 1.5s, they bounce back, like Lewis last week. I don't want to tip it out if it's like, I can get 2 units on it, but some people in my Discord can't. And it just kept going and going. And then when Big Bird tipped it out, I'm like, man, this is just going to get destroyed. So I tipped it out at $1.61. Now it's like minus 200. I capped it at minus 200. Worst case, I mean, Dulatov has all these finishes. All right. I do think Adam Fugitt is chinny. And Fugitt is not too bad himself. He's got some power on him, man. He's ran through Solomon Renfro. He got knocked out by, Carlin Hill, 1 minute, 30 seconds. He got put out cold there with 1 punch. So he's got power, man. Solomon Refer was 43 seconds. He ran through Kinoshita. Mike Malott hurt him in round 1 to the body, and then he hurt him in round 2 again, and then he guillotined him. Now, Mike Malott, we just seen him against the last guy that he finished. Really, really good finishing upside. Just like the guy hits like a truck. But so does Islam Dulatov. And the main thing is this guy really goes for it. I think the under 1.5 wasn't that great. It actually wasn't too bad in his contender series. And I don't think I played it because I honestly didn't think he was going to go 2 rabies, in the biggest opportunity to get into the UFC. And he did. He just went all out. And it was very hittable. And it was kind of gassing. So this guy will go for it. This guy will go for it. I hope he goes for it. If he doesn't go for it, I feel like Adam Fugitt will not push the pace. It will be like another Josh Quinlan type fight. So I really do hope Islam Dulatov goes for it. I have currently 1,750 on the under to win 1,400, more than 2 units. That's probably over the top. I'm not going to keep all that. A lot of unders hit easily last week. There's meant to be a lot of easy unders this week. I just don't feel too great about it. I just feel like something's got to give. Some obvious under 1.5 rounds is going to crash and burn. So I could see it here. In shape, Spann should really run through Brzeski. Dulatov, he'll try. He might get grappled a bit. Who knows? But I'll definitely reduce this. But that's the play. The under 1.5 rounds. It might have some value at minus 200, really, honestly. If Dulatov goes hard, it doesn't finish Fugitt, he might get broken. Who knows? Ateba, Gautier, Robert, Valentin. So I like the under 1.5 here too as well. When it was a pick and he moved a bit. Basically, if you're giving Ateba this much favorite upside, I think he should finish Robert Valentin. I played his under versus Jose Medina. I had to cancel out the noise. Medina's super durable, blah, blah, blah. All the casuals saying that. And I don't think Robert is as durable as Medina. Not Medina, but just that durable. Because I've seen him dropped. But he's never been, whatever. He was knocked out by Ryan Lauder with a crucifix. But I've never really seen someone, properly drop him and hurt him. Ibo Arslan knocked him out on regionals, but that was an attritional gassing. They were both gassed in round 3. It was a sloppy fight. It was a light heavyweight too. So I might have to rewatch that one just to see how he can handle punches. But yeah, he got hurt by Paddy McCrory, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling anything. It's a dog or pass. I do feel like he might go over. I don't want to force this under right here. I do feel like they'll be patient, staring at each other. Obviously, Robert Valentin has a lot of finishing upside. But Paddy McCrory is the best guy he's finished. This is Zoran George, Janis Bachar. Super, super chinny guys. Petro Pranini, I don't know him that well. But he went over in the first fight. He finished him in the second. He went over against Samuel Shalest with a rear naked choke. He went over against Van der Beek. So he's got a good submission game, but you got to assume that this Ateba Gautier guy is a white belt. So it's a dog or pass. I basically thought the under would cover both Robert and Ateba, but I'm not feeling too flash about the fight in general. Big Bird. I think the under that should but doesn't hit is the Ateba one. Yeah, that's how I feel too. That my gut is just telling me to stay away from this one. Because it's like, a lot of these obvious unders generally don't hit when both of the fighters are not fighting the way they should. For example, like Brundage and Malik. And I feel like this is the fight where they might fight like that. They might just both stare at each other, feel each other out. Robert might grapple a bit. His job is on the line. He's going to be patient. So if you watch Ateba, he's very patient as well. He doesn't brawl like Francis Ngannou. He just kind of picks his shot. He jabs. He looks for the killer shot. Yakub, important question. Would Ebo sloppily KO Bumtier? He could. Do you like Ateba points at plus 900? Not really. Big Bird, Spann parlay piece. Wow, that's going to be a brave man to parlay Spann, but honestly, it's a better price than Crute, and he has the worst opponent, and he's honestly the most likely to win in like 30 to 40 seconds. So maybe Ryan Spann. And he took some big shots from Waldo. He is chinny, but he took some big shots from Waldo before he finally went out. So the chin can be not as risky here. But I already have the under, so. Francisco Prado, Nikolay Veretennikov, so much money on Veretennikov, and it's just, I get it, right? Prado is, lose this one, might be cut from the UFC, but I don't like either of these guys, and honestly, taping it just feels like it might have to be, Prado slight favorite, accurate, or Veretennikov slight dog, accurate, and just all pick him, and I just don't like it. I don't like this fight. It's shit. So let's move on. Speaking of shit fights, Marvin Vettori, Brendan Allen. I actually hate both these guys. I'm sure most people do. Marvin Vettori, a little bit washed. Brendan Allen, you go through his career. I used to glaze Brendan Allen. I used to think, man, this guy should be in the ranking. This guy runs through anyone that is not ranked, right? But then you look at those people, and it's like Kevin Holland, the middleweight, Tom Breeze, Kyle Dawkins, Carl Robertson, Punahele Soriano, probably his best performance on the feet, Sam Alvey, Jacob Malkoun, which you should have lost, Christoph Jotko, Andre Muniz, Wash Bruno Silva, Paul Craig, and then his best win, hands down, is Chris Curtis on super short notice. And he pulled his hamstring and he was about to lose that fight. You give him Anthony Hernandez, Nasruddin Imamov, he ain't winning. He's getting knocked out by Sean Strickland, one of the only guys to be knocked out by Sean Strickland. So, yeah, I think these guys are similar level. It's a dog or pass, but I do think Allen is a little bit better, and he has a bit of a better path if he sticks to it, but I don't know. It's such a shit fight. But from a betting perspective, but from an actual watching perspective, these guys hate each other, so we might get a good fight. I'm excited. 29 versus 31. Good implications for the middleweight division. 6 round. Vettori decision. Prices are decent if he's not washed. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. But is it much better than his money line? Surely people know that the over correlates with Vettori. I also have a sneaky. I was going to lay the distance chalk. I just have a sneaky feeling that maybe Brandon Allen can finish him. Like he's rear naked choked a lot of good guys, Muniz and Holland. He's got one of the best rear naked chokes in the game. Christoph Jotko, rarely ever been submitted in his entire life, and Vettori decision. Yeah, you're getting like 70 cents better. Big Bird, Brandon Allen hometown. Wow. Well, that just means he's going to fight even stupider, right? Who knows? Alrighty. Carla Phillips, Vincius Oliveira. Yeah, this is the fight. I get why so much money is coming on Carla Phillips. Same thing as Veretennikov, pardon me. But I don't know. I'm not willing to rule out Vincius Oliveira. I'm kind of thinking maybe I could actually play Vincius Oliveira now that the money has come in. I do feel, like the whole noise is, Carla Phillips probably wins round 1 because you watch Vincius fights and he's getting dropped by Taleb early. He's getting top time by Sopaj. He's getting, dropped by leg kicks and spinning back kicks by Said Nagomedov. I mean, that's the same thing Phillips is going to do. So I think by the time Vincius warms up, he might definitely lose. But I don't know. I'm either going to play Vincius, in my opinion, or I'm just going to live bet it. So I'm not rushing. I'm not really rushing on this fight. Big Bird will pounce on Lockdog when he gets to pick him by fight time. Yeah, that's how I'm thinking. I'd rather play Lockdog. It's just the whole trajectory. You know what he's going to get. He's going to fight for your money. Carla Phillips, you don't know. Like, you know that he's gassy, but sometimes it's okay, and other times it's Holy Paiva or Rob Font type of gas. So, maybe if I had plus 150, I would have done it and looked to pivot. What's the total here? I haven't even bothered to look at the total. It's been a very busy week, like I said. Maybe down to 2.5 rounds. Nah, that probably goes over. Daniel Zellhuber versus Michael Johnson. We're on the main card. Wow. 14-fight card. Crazy we didn't lose any of these fights. Basically, I just think Zellhuber's going to finish him in rounds 2 or 3. Maybe finish him in round 1. Apparently, rounds 2 or 3 is crap. I think Zellhuber, he hurt Ribovics. He almost got Lando Venata out of there. And just people think this is going to go over because of that. Hence why the over 1.5 rounds is extremely chalked. But I'm close. I'm close to playing the under 1.5 rounds. That's where I'm at. But I'm not going to because I think Daniel Zellhuber, I might play 1 or 2. But the prices are shit. So if he can't finish Michael Johnson, then seriously, I don't know what to say. Daniel Zellhuber, KO submission, pick him. The under 2.5 rounds is also pick him. He's extremely durable, Daniel Zellhuber. Extremely, extremely durable. But, you know, everyone's time comes. He was hurt by Giagos. Not really hurt by Prado. Yeah, Giagos, Prado, Esteban. Like, he landed so many strikes on these guys. Yeah. Daniel Zellhuber finish in some sort of manner. Speaking of finish, Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. I liked Pitbull for weeks before even the fight started. You know, I was like, how does a wash Patricio Pitbull... Sorry, Dan Ige, I should say. How does a wash Patricio Pitbull beat Dan Ige? And I love Pitbull. I bet him in Bellator a lot. You know, he was underestimated a lot. And, you know, I thought he might have a chance against Yair Rodriguez, and that's probably the easiest fight because you can take him down. Yair is not even that good. I don't know. Him getting the title shot is one of the biggest travesties, again. Like, so many guys in the division. Lerone Murphy, I think you could beat Yair Rodriguez, honestly. I think Dan Ige could beat Yair Rodriguez as well. Anyway, yeah, I basically think Dan Ige will knock him out. You know, they're the same size. They're both used to fighting much, much taller guys. So they're getting someone each other's size. I think, obviously, Ige has the durability. Everyone's shitting on his IQ and stuff, but he just beat Sean Woodson by KO, which is a good win. He dropped Lerone Murphy badly with a good pull counter, competitive against Lopez, knocked out Philly, you know, dropped Nate Landwehr like 3 times. Bryce Mitchell fight was extremely close. Extremely, extremely close. Yeah, it's Dan Ige, but I mean, the line is just gone. Gone to no. I'm surprised this under hasn't taken any action. Let me see what Dan Ige KO is now. Because people are saying it's Dan Ige KO. $3.75. The under is $3. Maybe we just. I'm gonna hate if like Dan Ige drops him a couple times and wins a competitive decision, just like the Nate Landwehr fight. But maybe he's a parlay piece. We'll see. Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez. I mean, speaking of parlay pieces, everyone's on Holland. I get it. I didn't even tape it. Probably should have locked it in early in the week because just this, wow, $1.18 now. Wow. Kevin Holland minus 3.5. That could be a play. That could be a play. And, you know, if it's a 29-28, so be it. But everyone thinks the finish is going to happen, so that could be a play. I personally leaned Kevin Holland by sub. You know, I was on D-Rod when Magny submitted him, and just I was like, wow, if Magny can submit you, I've never forgotten that moment. What do we got? Submission, $3.50. Not bad. A lot of people are saying it's a shit price. I expected worse, honestly. I expected worse. Maybe just play the under 1.5 rounds plus money. I played that against Luka and he went under, so we'll see. A few things that I like there. Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. Now, a lot of people are on Costa, sharps, you know, not so sharps, Dogfather, Pepe. So I get it. You know, I hated it. I was like, you can't convince me at all. Not interested, right? Paulo Costa himself is not interested in fighting. And, you know, I watched him in his last few fights. I watched him against Strickland. I had money on him against Whitaker. And it's like, if he didn't land that spinning wheel kick at the death in round 1, he just gets 30-27 easily. I parlayed against Luke Rockhold, you know, and it's just watching that fight, I was disgusted. I was like, what am I watching here? What am I watching? This guy, he's just not what people thought he was. So, I don't know. But then I taped it, and I'm like, I can see it, man. I can see it. I played Cesar Almeida versus Kopylov, and he was breaking him. He was pressuring him. He was hitting him, and obviously he kept getting taken down. You know, Cesar Almeida is almost like a 0 off his back. And I don't think Roman can have the same game plan here. I think Costa's either going to stuff it easily or he's just going to work his way up straight away because we've seen him against Romero and others. He just works his way up. So I can see it, man. It's going to be a lot more competitive, but I just need to think about it really because having money on Paulo Costa, maybe he looks in shape. He made weight. He looks kind of zoned in. He looks like, I personally thought he was going to come in here, not give a shit, get cut, and we're never going to see him in the UFC again. But I don't know. I'm just getting the vibe that he might be taking it seriously. He looks good. He looks good. He looks good. So it's a dogger pass for me. Dogger pass. You know, Kopylov has his flaws. Almost got knocked out by Curtis in the last one. So too much of a competitive fight with someone like Curtis for me to comfortably play him here. But yeah, dogger pass. And we're at the main event. And not much to say about the main event. There's a lot of, the first time these guys fought, it was so long ago that the rematch, it didn't really matter for the rematch. And now the second time they fought was also so long ago that this trilogy, you can't really reference that for the trilogy. Right, it was 2019. Wow, time flies, man. 6 years ago they fought. And, Max Holloway just beat the shit out of Aldo and Ortega. And that fight, in my opinion, changed him. He made Max Holloway a worse fighter because after that he came against Frankie Edgar. And I had him in every single parlay. I anchored him, a Clint Die Hard special, but actually sharp. I anchored him in everything, and it was like, what's this? What kind of a Max Holloway is this? He was very careful. He was like scared of Frankie Edgar. And then he fought like that against Volkanovski, and he almost got 5-0 in rounds. And I'm like, this is not the same guy that breaks you. The way he almost broke Ortega and Jose Aldo. Something's wrong with him. And then he looked a bit better against Volkanovski, and then it was back to the old Qatar. He wasn't sparring anymore. So I'm like, okay, he's back. And then he just started brawling and breaking people, Yair Rodriguez. Volkanovski just has his number. Now he's back to this kind of hybrid, Arnold Allen, Chung Song Jong, and Justin Gaethje. Like, he's very patient, but he goes when he should go. Keeps it competitive, but he's not too patient. Obviously, he's not sparring still. So, but there's a lot of new things, since Dustin is retiring, Max has moved up fully to lightweight, and he's probably going to be much bigger. He's going to hit much harder. He hurt Justin a few times, and at the same time, he's also been knocked out for the first time by Ilia Topuria. So that chin was always going to crack. The amount of punishment he takes is always going to crack. It's now cracked. Dustin Poirier still hits hard. He's retiring, but I don't really consider him someone that's going to phone it in his retirement fight. He's going to go out on his shield. He wants to go out with a BMF belt. His Makachev fight was cool. His Benoit Saint-Denis fight was a good look. This guy's got fight in him still. So honestly, it's a dogger pass for me. And honestly, I think there's a bit of recency on how Max Holloway looked against Justin Gaethje. But he was still hurt, I think, in round 3 in that one. And if Gaethje doesn't break his nose in round 1, I think it's a much closer fight. And I think Dustin is more suited to having a more competitive 5-round striking fight with Max than someone like Gaethje. So that's where I'm at. I haven't really played it. Haven't played anything. It just seems like a fight. There's a lot of obvious spots on this card that do I really have to pick between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier? So that's where I'm at. I'm going to go over these plays. If you've got any questions, ask me now, and I'm going to kick it and tape some boxing in KSW. So Carli Judice, 1,200, 2 units, $1.40. Brunno Ferreira, nothing, but I might have to force something before the fight starts. Ryan Spann, Lukasz Brzeski. I have, 2 in a unit on the under. Ryan looks good. I'll probably leave it. Hello, Dogfather. You're just at the end. Jimmy Crute, Prachnio. I'm probably going to play some Jimmy Crute inside the distance. Dulatov, I have the under 1.5 rounds. Way too much. Almost $2,000. Might have to reduce that a little bit. Ateba, Gautier, Robert Valentin. It's a dog or pass or the under. We'll see. Nikolay, Veretennikov, Prado. I hate this fight. Vettori, Allen. Clear dog or pass, but I hate the fight. Oliveira, Phillips. I'm personally leaning with Oliveira, but maybe I just live bet it. Daniel Zellhuber is going to win inside the distance. Dan Ige for me, or the under, or Dan Ige KO. We'll see. Kevin Holland, by whatever he wants. Paulo, Costa or pass, and nothing on the main event, but I'm leaning Poirier. Yes. Share some boxing bets. Dogfather is unloading on the boxing bets. It's going to be a big boxing weekend for me as well. I already have a lock, but I'm just waiting for a better line. All right, that's it. Peace out. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.